All right, y'all, welcome back to the Kentucky College Football 26 Dynasty rebuild that we're doing. In the last episode, we started the season 2-0 with convincing wins over Toledo and Ole Miss. We have Eastern Michigan for the first game this week, but first I'm going to check in on our recruiting situation. We're still in second place for this five-star quarterback, Kenyon Busby, who's the #1 overall player in the whole class. He's currently looking at Georgia, but we're not too far behind, and we're basically ahead of every other team. We're in first place for this 4-star center, Scott Boyman. We're in third place for this 5-star left tackle, Avery Turpin. Second place for this 4-star quarterback, Rico Looker, but this isn't even the quarterback I want the most in this class, and honestly, Kenyon Busby also is not the quarterback I want the most in this class. The quarterback I want the most is Alejandro Madden, and it's because he's not actually going to be Alejandro Madden. He is going to be Matt Ponatoski if we do end up landing him. And Matt, for those of you who don't know, Matt Ponatoski is the very, very talented 4-star quarterback that Kentucky just landed in real life. And ooh, this 4-star corner, Brian Abram, has us #1 now, and we're pretty clearly ahead of Oklahoma State. And I really want this Joey Sinnott guy, but I'm not sure. I mean, Virginia Tech has a somewhat sizable lead over us. It's honestly not too bad. I should have offered this Mike Rashed guy. He is a 4-star edge rusher that has us first on his list. And this Marco Adams, we're neck and neck with Washington. So yeah, we're in a pretty good position with a lot of these recruits. It looks like we're definitely going to get this 4-star right tackle, Willie Marks. He's a top 200 recruit too, so that's nice. So a quick stat overview of the season so far. At quarterback, Zach Calzada is 26 for 40, which is 65% completion percentage, and he has 313 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Cutter Boley had to play when Calzada got injured against Ole Miss. 14 completions on 22 attempts, 160 yards, and a touchdown. Rushing the ball, Dante Dowdell has been phenomenal through 2 games, 44 carries for 320 yards. That's a 7.3 yard per carry average and 3 rushing touchdowns. Calzada also has 76 rushing yards. McGowan has 67, and Jamarion Wilcox has 57 yards and 2 touchdowns. At receiver, Kendrick Law and Jamori Macklin are both in the 100-yard mark, as Kendrick Law is coming up on 200 yards, but he hasn't caught a touchdown yet. Macklin has 2 touchdowns, and Dowdell has a receiving touchdown. And then defensively, we've got a bunch of guys that are recording sacks. David Gusta, the interior D lineman, has 3, 2.5 for McKees Humphrey Grace, 2 for J.Q. Hardaway. Cam Olds has 1.5, Ty Bryant has a sack, Josiah Hayes has a sack, and Sam Green has half a sack. So now that we're all caught up on all of that, we're going to go ahead and hop in and play Eastern Michigan. They are a 67 overall in this game, whereas we are an 82 right now. Kind of want to do a little bit of a different uniform combo here, maybe just something simple but new. White helmet and blue jerseys. And it is raining here at Kroger Field as we take on Eastern Michigan. And the atmosphere is good here in Kentucky after the 2-0 start. And oh my goodness, Quaysheed Scott intercepts the ball and a pick 6 to start the game. Quaysheed Scott, the surprise starter of the season, with a pick 6 on the first drive of the football game. Man, he just threw it directly to him. That was a duck, too. What a terrible pass. And Quaysheed Scott made him pay with a pick 6. And the pocket collapses. McKees Humphrey Grace and David Gusta combine to sack him. And so far, the Kentucky defense has made a couple really nice plays. And then Cameron Olds gets in there. The 4-star Kent State transfer takes out the legs of Noah Kim, and a huge sack makes it 4th and 24. Olds just came screaming off that right side and absolutely annihilated the quarterback. Here comes the Kentucky offense for the first time. And the defense was able to get on the board without the offense ever even seeing the field. Zach Calzada is back from his injury that kept him out for most of the game against Ole Miss. Cutter Boley did a really good job in his absence. Troy Stellato, that was a very tight window to try to fit it into, and that is going to be a 3-and-out. 3rd and 6 right now, 4.5 minutes left in the first quarter. Can the Kentucky defense get a stop? Kim is going to wind up and throw an incomplete pass as the Kentucky pressure got to him once again. And this Kentucky D-line is absolutely bullying teams through 3 games this season. Calzada, handoff to Dante Dowdell. I ended up going backwards 7 yards, so that's like probably the first backwards run of the season for Dowdell. He's been going just straight forward all year so far. We're in a pretty big hole here to start this drive, and then Seth McGowan doesn't go anywhere, and he ends up shaking up on the play. So right now, Eastern Michigan's defense actually is kind of doing pretty well. The snap to Calzada. He's got Fred Ferrier wide open, and he overthrew him. Ferrier was wide open. Oh, my goodness. So the rain has proven to be a bit of a problem for the Kentucky passing game so far. A couple missed throws. Noah Kim will keep it on 3rd and 1 and pick up the first down. 3rd and 7 as Kroger Field is starting to get loud again. Noah Kim with the pass. It's caught. He breaks the tackle, and a first down. Noah Kim with a good throw under pressure. He somehow came down with that one too. And that's a huge pickup for Eastern Michigan as they're trying to drive on Kentucky. And Cameron Olds misses the sack. Oh my goodness. And then J.Q. Hardaway drops the pick. So Cameron Olds had him dead to rights in the backfield. I think I just dove at the wrong angle. And then J.Q. Hardaway drops the interception. So a couple of opportunities that were missed there by the Kentucky defense. 3rd and 7 again. Can Kentucky hold him to a field goal? And that's going to get broken up by Daverin Rayner, who has made a ton of huge havoc plays through the first 3 games so far. So the Eastern Michigan field goal makes it 7-3, and Kentucky needs to get something going here. I mean, this has been kind of an embarrassing start as Dante Dowdell is going to get lit up by Jefferson Adam in the backfield. And so far, this Eastern Michigan defense is bullying us. Calzado on the slant to Kendrick Law. That'll be a first down for Law. Something's got to get going. That's the first completion of the game for Calzada, and the run game also isn't really working either. This time, Dowdell will go forward for 3 yards, but still not any big chunk plays happening yet. We have -3 rushing yards and 12 passing yards at the end of the first quarter. If it wasn't for that pick 6, we'd be down right now, so not the best way to start for sure. 3rd and 1. Can Dowdell get the first down? No, he can't. This Eastern Michigan defense has come to play today as Kentucky just cannot get anywhere. Just can't do nothing, man. And Eastern Michigan has halfway decent field position right now. It's a rainy day here in Kroger Field. The team clearly is not taking Eastern Michigan very seriously as Ty Bryant is able to just fight Dante McMillan down to the ground. My goodness, almost missed that tackle a couple times. 2nd and 8. That's going to be a screen, and David Gusta reads the screen perfectly. And the biggest havoc maker on this team so far this season, David Gusta, gets there. 3rd and 13. Kentucky needs this stop badly. Instead, they give the first down up. Porter Rooks with the catch makes it a first down, and Kentucky's defense gives it up once again. And this has not been the ideal start on either side of the ball. Again, if it wasn't for that pick 6, we would be in trouble right now. Ty Bryant saves the touchdown as Dante McMillan goes down. And this is incredible right now. I don't even know what I'm witnessing. They are just moving the ball at will. The snap to Kim. And Cameron Olds gets there with McKees Humphrey Grace for the sack. So that's a little bit of momentum for the defense. It's 3rd and 15. You got to get off the field here. Olds getting good pressure again, but this time it's Josiah Hayes for his first sack of the season. All right, so something's got to change on offense here. It has not been good at all. Calzada delivers to the tight end, Elijah Brown, and a first down for Elijah Brown. We need to get Dante Dowdell going. He's been our best offensive player, but Eastern Michigan is just loading the box every play, and we can't get anywhere. He has 7 carries for 1 yard. That is not the Dante Dowdell we've been seeing so far this year, but man, it's been rough. This time we'll catch him on a screen. Dowdell has blocks, and he's gone. So it may not be happening on the ground for Dowdell, but he takes it all the way to the house off a screen play, and maybe that's the spark Kentucky needed to get started here. So a pretty good drive from Eastern Michigan here, and they got backed up due to a holding call. So it's 1st and 20. And wide open is the running back. I think that's McMillan again. No, that's James Jointer, actually. And McKees Humphrey Grace tears it up, gets there for the sack. And this D-line still getting a ton of pressure. That's going to back them out to, I think that's the 16-yard line. And then how about more pressure? Back-to-back sacks for McKees Humphrey Grace, and he has 3 sacks today. He is eating good in this one. Oh, man. 3rd and goal. This Kentucky D-line is just all over Noah Kim. So despite some really good drives for the Eastern Michigan offense, he just keeps getting hit. McKees Humphrey Grace got there again. And here we go, Eastern Michigan on to kick. We blocked a kick earlier this year against Ole Miss with Tarian Nichols. This time we won't block it, and he will hit the field goal. And Calzada doesn't have the arm strength to catch him in stride. It still got into Kendrick Law's hands, but he just couldn't hold on. And Calzada is not having the best game so far. Troy Stellato, the Clemson transfer, gets the first down on the slant. That was a good way for it to develop there. And we really just need to get a string of completions together for Zach Calzada to get his confidence up, because this has not been a confidence-building game. Jamori Macklin was wide open, but the O-line did not hold. And actually, the O-line didn't even see that guy. He just came flying through and took out Zach Calzada. Eastern Michigan driving down the field on us again. 35 seconds left in the second quarter. Noah Kim will take off, and he'll slide. Kim is going to make the throw, and how about a first down? Noah Kim. Will they have to settle for their 3rd field goal of the day? They're going to drop it off to the running back. He goes down. There's 5 seconds left, and they are going to end up kicking a field goal. The field goal is up, and it's in. So going into halftime, it will be 14-9 with 3 field goals for Eastern Michigan, who's been able to move the ball on us, but they just haven't been able to finish in the end zone for touchdowns. Their defense has been all over us, and their offense has been moving. So far, not the first half that Big Blue Nation expected. And, of course, this is something that the real Kentucky football team would do. They would make the fans watch a game in a torrential downpour against Eastern Michigan and almost lose. So, hey, I told you, I'm keeping it realistic, you know what I mean? And Dante Dowdell has got nothing going on the ground today, so how about we change that? Dowdell up the middle, he's gone. And the first play of the second half goes all the way to the crib as Dante Dowdell decided he's had enough. And here we are, 3rd and 15. Can the Cats get a stop? And, wow, Eastern Michigan's receiver literally just dropped the football. Play action for Calzada. And, oh my goodness, Kendrick Law is wide open in the middle of the field. I'm going to see if I can make some people miss. And a very, very nice pickup. Calzada, play action. He's moving. And it's caught! Jamori Macklin catches it through contact in the end zone for a Kentucky touchdown to make it 28-9 if we make the extra point. So here goes Calzada again. We're trying to get his numbers up. And Josh Caddis is wide open, and he's going to catch it on the sideline. That's Josh Caddis' first catch of the season. After getting off to a rough start, we've completed a ton of deep passes, and that's kind of what we needed to do in this game, is get the deep ball established against a bad team like this. It took us a minute to get it going, but it looks like we finally got to that point. Snap to Calzada, and oh! Woo-wee! Another contested catch for Jamori Macklin. He's made a couple of those now. Calzada up to 249 passing yards on the day. Let's try to punch Dante Dowdell in for another touchdown, and he's going to get in there. So Kentucky scores again, and finally the blowout begins. Seth McGowan hasn't really gotten any carries in this one. So let's see if we can get him going. Great blocking, and McGowan breaks a tackle. Oh, he's still going. Somehow picks up a first down. I don't know how he moved like that, but I'll take it. The snap to Calzada. We're going to get it to Dowdell one more time. And he's so close to the end zone, yet so far down at the 2-yard line. 3 touchdowns today for Dante Dowdell. 2 on the ground, 1 through the air. And he's about to get another rushing touchdown. And is the Dante Dowdell Heisman campaign starting right now? What do we think? And so it wasn't quite as dominant of a performance as I maybe would have liked. And the first bit of the game was definitely pretty unacceptable. But, oh, Kendrick Law gets into the end zone for another one. I will say we have gotten Zach Calzada a ton of stats today, 270 passing yards and 3 touchdowns. We'll move to 3-0. What is going on with that guy's beard, bro? What the hell? Dante Dowdell with 167 rushing yards and 4 total touchdowns. He was fantastic today. Zach Calzada had 270 passing yards and 3 touchdowns. Dante Dowdell had 167 rushing yards and 3 rushing touchdowns. Jamori Macklin had 63 yards with a touchdown. Kendrick Law, 67 yards with a touchdown. Dante Dowdell, 53 yards on 1 catch for a touchdown. And Josh Caddis also had his first 2 catches of the game. 2 catches, 53 yards. Defensively, we got to the quarterback a ton once again. How about McKees Humphrey Grace recording 4 sacks in this one? 2.5 from Cam Olds, a sack from Josiah Hayes, and half a sack from David Gusta, as this D-line continues to be elite. Quaysheed Scott gets SEC Defensive Player of the Week against Michigan with his pick 6 and 2 pass deflections. And then Dante Dowdell also gets SEC Offensive Player of the Week. So we get SEC Offensive and Defensive Player of the Week this week with Dowdell and Quaysheed Scott. So we're in a bye week now, so we can kind of go check out our recruiting a little bit. It looks like we got locked out of a couple recruits. This 5-star tackle, Avery Turpin, looks like he's on his way to Ohio State, so he's off our list. Mike Rashed still has us number 1. I'm going to go ahead and offer him a scholarship, because yes, he still needs one from us, and we can schedule a visit for him. We'll do it during the week 7 bye week, I think. And actually, it's probably not a good time to schedule a visit for him, because we don't really have any of his top things discovered yet, so I'm going to kind of hold off on that for a minute. Marco Adams has us number 2. We can schedule him for a visit. And yes, conference prestige is an A+, so we can get Marco Adams in here for a visit during the bye week. Nick Bacon out of Lawrenceburg, Kentucky, has us very clearly number 1. We don't even need to bother bringing him on a visit. Same thing with Willie Marks. Tavares Mastrid knocked us out of his top 5, so we'll take him off the list. Tyler Maggio has us number 1 by a lot. Jerry McCracken does. So does David Portanesh. 4-star Lewis Clements, an edge rusher, has us number 1. I'm going to see if I can get him on for a visit as well. I'm kind of worried about any game-related influence because I'm not convinced I can beat any of those teams that we play at home for the rest of the year. So I think I'm going to bring him in on the bye week as well. Tanking has us pretty quickly in the number 1. Devontae Tanking is a very interesting name. Kareem Power is another interesting name. He has us number 1. We're pretty much completely tied with Georgia Southern and New Mexico State for Jamal Tracy. And then these guys all don't really have much of desire to come here. It looks like Matt Ponatoski, aka Alejandro Madden, is pretty clearly wanting to come here. And we need a few of these guys to commit so that we can get some more of our recruiting hours and come focus on these guys a little bit more. I really want this Joey Sinnott guy, who is the number 2 inside linebacker in the country. He's a top 100 recruit, and I would really like to have him. And then, yeah, this Brian Abram guy, who's a top 40 corner in the class, has us number 1 as well, pretty convincingly. So we're sitting in a pretty good position recruiting-wise right now. All right, so going into this week, we take on 16th ranked South Carolina, who's 3-1. We are currently 3-0. And if I am seeing things correctly, the number 1 overall recruit in the entire country, Keon Busby, now has us number 1. Number 1 over Georgia. We just passed Georgia for Kenyon Busby. We can schedule a visit for him. I think I'm also going to do the bye week. And his playing time is very important to him. But I think I'm going to go pro potential instead because I do not want him to get on campus and expect to start immediately. So we have him visiting during the Week 7 bye week. If we land the #1 recruit in the entire class and we steal him from Georgia, he literally lives in Georgia, that would be insane. So anyway, it is time for us to take on the South Carolina Gamecocks. And this is not going to be easy. They're an 84 and we are an 82, so honestly it's not as big of a difference as you would think. I'm going to have them go with the blackouts, and then I'm going to do one of my favorite jersey combinations for Kentucky, and I think it's very underrated, and it's the blue helmet, the white jersey, and the blue pants. I feel like this is one of the most underrated jersey combos we have. I don't know, I just like it. And this atmosphere is insane here at Williams-Brice Stadium. This is going to be a very difficult game to win. The atmosphere is unreal here at South Carolina, and they always do have a pretty crazy atmosphere here. And it's a night game as well, so, I mean, this is about as college football as it gets. We will get the ball first, so that's good. Hardly Gilmore, let's see if we can get anything going on the kick return here. And, oh, definitely the best kick return I've had yet as I get out to the 34-yard line. So, honestly, I think it's going to be damn near impossible to consistently throw the football at a high level in this game just because of how crazy this place is. So I'm going to try to run with Dante Dowdell as much as I can, and getting 1 yard on the first play is not ideal. That's kind of, oh my goodness, I thought Dante Dowdell was triangle. I ended up hitting triangle. It turns out he was RB, so I'm already shaking. I am already shaken up. This is already very difficult. And there, the pocket's collapsing. I'm going to have to get rid of this thing. I lob it up to Jamori Macklin, and it falls to the turf. A good punt return gives them fantastic field position with Lenoris Sellers in the backfield at quarterback. And this is not going to be a very easy game for Kentucky as their run picks up 4 yards. Snap to Sellers. Over the middle to Nick Harbor. And that's a first down. Lenoris Sellers keeps it on the quarterback keeper, and he fumbles the ball. Oh my goodness, J.Q. Hardaway gets hawked down by Nick Harbor, the fastest player in the game, but a big-time hit leads to a J.Q. Hardaway fumble recovery. I think that was Ty Bryant who laid the hit. Let's actually go take a look at that. Lenoris Sellers on the read option. Ty Bryant comes up from the safety position and absolutely levels him. And, oh, I don't know. It looks like Sellers might have been down, but I don't think they're reviewing it. So, hey, I'll take it. But running the football is not going to be an easy task against this team and this insane defensive line. And this time, Dowdell breaks a tackle. He broke the tackle off the line of scrimmage. Now he's in a foot race, and Dante Dowdell scores. Oh my God, I can't believe he broke that tackle. I thought I was doomed. Next thing you know, I'm just out in open space. And the South Carolina fans can't believe it. Look how quickly the momentum turned, man. We get a fumble. Look at this. Dowdell just throws two guys off of him and then wins the foot race for the touchdown. Now, we missed the extra point, so once again, that's the most Kentucky football thing ever. To have a massive momentum shifting play like that and then miss the extra point. That is just something that would definitely happen as Quaysheed Scott breaks up the pass. And man, I mean, football is a game of momentum, and after something like that, all the momentum now is in our favor after it started off in South Carolina's favor. Davern Rayner gets some good pressure, and the catch, Cameron Olds gets there, and they're actually going to punt the ball on 4th and inches. I don't know if Shane Beamer would even do that in real life, especially with Lenoris Sellers. You could probably very easily sneak it for the first down, but hey, I'll take it. Patterson, not much of a return there. Calzada's going to step up, and I'm going to get out of bounds with him. So the pocket collapsed, but was able to move up and pick up the first down with his feet. Dante Dowdell had that big 70-yard touchdown run, and how about weaving his way through the O-line again for another first down, and Dante Dowdell has been so unbelievably good for us so far this season. And now there goes Seth McGowan, who's been a really solid backup for us, and the New Mexico transfer gets the first down. The pass to Josh Caddis. That is a first down, Kentucky. 23 yards for Josh Caddis, who's made a couple of big catches in this video so far. Jamarion Wilcox is now in the backfield. I'm going to get it to him, and terrible run blocking there from Kentucky. Calzada takes the snap. He's on his way. Jamori Macklin is wide open, and a Kentucky touchdown again. Now I'm going to go for the 2-point conversion here since we missed the extra point on the first one. You might as well try to get those back. It's already a 2-possession game regardless. I'm going to hit Troy Stellato on this slant, and the 2-point conversion gives us a 2-touchdown lead now. South Carolina goes 3 and out, and we got the ball back, and we're driving again. 14-0 is the count right now, and this was the last thing I expected. But we are on our way to going into halftime with maybe a 3-touchdown lead. Calzada to Wilcox, and he's just going to waltz into the end zone completely untouched. And these South Carolina fans are in complete disbelief right now as Kentucky goes up 3 touchdowns now. Kentucky's defense has absolutely owned South Carolina as we are forcing another punt. And again, this is the last thing I expected going into this game. But Kentucky right now is getting their revenge for that awful performance against South Carolina last season. This is one way to make it back up. Hand off to Wilcox. He's going to cut to the inside. Wilcox, huge pickup as he has 61 yards and a rushing touchdown in this one. 3rd and 13 now. I'm going to get it to Troy Stellato, and how about the first down? Calzada 7 for 10 for 104 yards in this one so far. This crowd is trying to stay behind their team, but Troy Stellato is wide open in the end zone for another Kentucky touchdown. 28-0, as this has just been a complete and total blowout, and definitely the last thing I expected. I mean, we struggled with Eastern Michigan, and yet South Carolina can't even, cross midfield right now. I mean, we have just completely dominated them. And it is intercepted. Quaysheed Scott again. He'll get hawked down again by Nick Harbor. But Kentucky is downright wiping South Carolina off the football field. I don't even know what to do right now. This is just too easy. We are straight up slaughtering them. This is the complete last thing I expected going into this game. I thought this would be genuinely difficult, especially with how much we have struggled against, honestly, some bad teams at times. I figured playing a good team like this, it would be a genuine challenge. But, I mean, Eastern Michigan gave us a better fight. Toledo gave us a better fight than South Carolina's given us right now. I mean, this is insane. And that's Kendrick Law wide open again. That is going to make it 35-0. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to need to raise the difficulty or what, but this is just now downright unrealistic, to be honest with you. And look at J.Q. Hardaway. I mean, This is legitimately what it looked like last year when Kentucky played South Carolina, except the other way around. I mean, just getting to the quarterback over and over again, having a ton of success on offense. I mean, this is just insane. And, oh my God, how in the world did Sellers get out of that? What the heck? And the booing from the South Carolina faithful as they're going to go 3 and out again and punt the ball. I mean, I don't even know what I'm witnessing right now, dude. I really don't. Jason Patterson goes nowhere. And, oh, I way underthrew him. And Macklin somehow trips him up, but that was a bad interception on my part. And an easy touchdown for Nick Harbor. I sold out on the run there. And they finally get into the end zone. I mean, my God. And the screen, that's going to go to Seth McGowan. McGowan spins off a defender, hurdles a guy, and ends up getting really close to the first down. Wilcox in the backfield. We just need a yard. He's going to find his blockers, makes a man miss before going down, and Wilcox now up to 90 rushing yards on the day. So this game was an absolute slaughterhouse, as we're going to walk into this stadium and beat a top 25 team 52-14. And I don't even know how to feel about this. Like, this was just an insane game. And, oh, death, taxes, and Jagger Burton getting called for holding. And I got to remember when we're blowing teams out like this, I should give my backups some PT. You know, like, I need to get Cutter Boley in the game. I need to get, like, Jason Patterson. Like, I just subbed Jason Patterson in. Like, I need to get those guys in for a game, for some PT, you know? And Patterson, my God, Dylan Stewart is just, what the hell? And I got to give my boy JP some yardage here. Jason Patterson might score a touchdown. He's going to go down at the 1. Oh, man, Jason Patterson. Let's reward our boy with a tutty. And our 4th string running back has now recorded a touchdown this year. And I genuinely, like, I can't believe this. So Kentucky absolutely wipes the floor with South Carolina, 59-14. And I have no idea how we managed to blow them out like this. But, I mean, what a game. Looking at the final stats here, Zach Calzada had 199 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. On the ground, Seth McGowan had 106 yards and 2 touchdowns. Wilcox had 92 yards and a touchdown. And Dante Dowdell had 84 yards and a touchdown. And then our 4th string, Jason Patterson, had 24 yards and a touchdown. Receiving-wise, Macklin had a touchdown, Kendrick Law had a touchdown, and Troy Stellato recorded, I believe, his first touchdown of the season. And then defensively, McKees Humphrey-Grace with 2 sacks. David Gusta with a sack, and Josiah Hayes with a sack, as the D-line continues to dominate. So now we get to play Georgia, number 2 Georgia, and that's how we will start off at the next episode. Real quick, we're going to take one last gander at the recruiting, and oh, Georgia took over Kenyon Busby's recruitment again, so we are no longer leading in his recruitment. Boyman still has us pretty far in first place, and it looks like Mike Rochette is really close to committing. It may happen literally next week, but Georgia Tech is kind of creeping up on us. I hope they don't steal him at the last second. Marco Adams is looking more and more likely to commit. We have his visit scheduled for week 7, but I don't even know if he's going to make it there. It looks like he might commit to Washington next week. Nick Bacon is probably about to commit to Kentucky. So is 4-star right tackle Willie March. That'll be a big recruiting win early. 4-star edge rusher Lewis Clements. Michigan is catching up very quickly, but we may still be able to pull that one out. 2 3-star wide receivers have us number 1. 3 actually. 4 actually. And then Matt Ponatoski is still looking at us. That's good. Oh, no. We're not going to get Joey Stinnett, man, or Joey Sinnott. We're not getting him. And I'm not even going to be able to schedule him. It's unfortunate. I guess the last-ditch thing I could do here is get rid of the send the house and go to the hard sell down here. And that does the most amount of influence if we get his 3 things correctly. So there it is. So we're going to do the conference legend pitch, and then we're going to add our extra 10 points to him. And then some of these guys, I mean, we should be able to get pretty easily, especially these guys that we don't really have that many points in them, and they still have us first place. Like, I'm going to put 50 on this 4-star defensive tackle. So I'm still awaiting that first commitment of my time of controlling this team. And since this dude's probably about to commit to Washington next week, I'm going to do the hard sell pitch on him as well and hope that it works. All right, so we've got our recruiting all sorted. And yeah, I mean, what a way to end this week. I mean, this episode is going to be a little crazy. I honestly did not expect to decimate South Carolina that badly, but hey, I mean, it's just the way the game goes sometimes, I guess. But yeah, we take on number 2 Georgia in the next one. We somehow are still unranked despite beating Ole Miss and beating the absolute brakes off of South Carolina. We're still unranked, but that's all right. We'll take on the Bulldogs at the start of next episode. And yeah, I guess I'll see y'all in that one.